Hey guys, I'm Sandra,
And I'm Jane.
and
And
welcome to Sister Sit Down. Welcome to our first virtual episode, guys. We're gonna try this. We're gonna try to stay consistent, and we're gonna force ourselves to have a platform that will enable us to do so. So, welcome. You're gonna practice this with us. We're gonna practice being quiet. We're gonna practice letting each other speak. We're gonna practice enunciating. Look at Jane trying to not talk as he's speaking. But very much serious business, okay?
I'm like, Sandra,
So,
that's the platform.
yeah, I don't know if we have an agenda or anything, but we're just going to film like we need to, as usual, because we have to catch up and we're going to do it on camera. We're not going to waste a FaceTime. So, here we are. And this feels so much better than being and like feeling like we're filming. This literally feels like we're FaceTiming.
Exactly.
I
Like
love this.
your face. I was
Yeah.
thinking, I was thinking that when I was like exploring with the app, I was like, this will be really good for you in terms of you're looking at a face, even if it's just even if you were just looking at your face, it'd be better than looking at a camera. Because
Yeah.
I'm talking through it now.
Ew. When you were saying we should watch our last episode back, I think I watched the last episode back and
You
I've
could,
never hated an episode more. I
yeah.
hated it because we actually planned to film it, so I wasn't gonna say let's not because it wasn't that bad, right? It's not like we said anything,
It
but
wasn't
I
great.
was feeling myself on camera and I could feel how awkward I was, and it's because I'm remembering like feeling behind the camera. I'm looking at these three dots, and it feels so weird. Like I want to turn to you and just talk. I want to turn to Daddy and just engage, but like it's so weird. So yeah, I did not like that at all. And this already feels so much more comfortable. This literally feels like we're FaceTiming. So
You're already being more comfortable.
yeah, off to a great start. Hopefully we don't chit chat and just
Okay.
gallivant all over. But guys, we actually have a lot to talk about today. So I think maybe we should just talk like we are actually gonna talk. Like let's actually talk about stuff we want to catch up on. Because I actually have stuff I want to talk to you about.
Because we are very much overdue, just a general catch up.
For a catch
So,
up, yeah. Seriously,
um,
seriously.
you
Do you want
want
to start?
well, no.
I know you had some things. Actually, let me get my phone because I know you wrote some things down and then I wrote some things on top of you.
Um, well,
Uh,
I have like general sister things that like we need to discuss, and then there's like things I wrote down in the notes. Which
go like high level.
I mean, what do you mean high level? I wanted you to go first because I felt like last episode I talked so much about myself because I was trying to like
I
circle
know
back.
because I was so weird. But
Yeah.
this won't be like that. And it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Well, even if we continue based on the conversations yesterday, like there's so many things that I don't feel like we even got to elaborate on because I was so weird. Like there's the stories are missing and then you are so much more outgoing because you're filling my gaps. You're very much a chatterbox, yeah. But
Um.
maybe we can start with like Super Bowl and stuff like that because that's very pressing and then that'll naturally lead us into what we want to talk about.
Obviously. Okay.
Okay,
So
perfect.
can,
Thoughts?
can I start?
Yes.
I I don't want to tell anyone I know and love this, but I guess I'll just put it out here on the internet anyway. I watched my very first Super Bowl ever.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
Me too. Me too.
From some- I was sad. I don't know why. It felt very important. I was like, this feels like it means something for the state of my
Really?
nation. I don't know why. I just felt, I was like, the Eagles have to win. Like, I don't know anything about football. People were saying, I was literally wishing you were there because I was like, Sandra the cheerleader could explain this to me. Like, I was like, flag for what? What even happened?
That's so okay. I don't want to be known for about like that.
I had two Eagles fans in the house. I said, "Oh, they're knowledgeable. They be knowing things."
Oh, you guys were watching. You guys were sat.
And these were
Oh
like friends of mine. I was like, they're like normal, but today they like are football experts. I said,
no, the game was interesting though. It was a good game. I do like watching. I forget how much I actually enjoy watching sports. I don't mind it. We were at a bar,
"Oh,
and oh, ew. You know, I want to feel the way I want to feel about something. I was telling my cousin and her husband, like I really want to feel about something the way men feel about football because the way people scream and will be, yeah, like this guy was like, yo, shots for it, just like rounding up, just and I said, oh my god, he
listen."
didn't even know what to do with himself when he just was like moving around. I said, oh my gosh, this is a lot,
Let
but
me.
I get it. It's fun.
Because I had two Philly natives in the house, and one of them is very much like a
It's a
football
game.
girl. No, she's very much a football girl. The other one is like very intuitive. I'll say. So I was like, if she says it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I don't even worry about it. I don't care. They're gonna win.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
trying to think who was who.
let me put it in girl terms. Okay, it's Black History Month. Okay, the quarterback is black on the Eagles. The quarterback on the Kansas City Chiefs It's a biracial girl.
He's a biracial girl.
Think of that what you will, okay? But it's a white mother.
Eagles, black assistant coach.
And listen, the Eagles coach is hot. The other one looks like a mucus man. So if it just goes based on hotness, the Eagles far outrank the others. Okay,
Objectively speaking, honestly.
one is dating Taylor Swift, and the other one, oh, anyway, oh, let's get that.
Wait, what?
Anyone coming for me? But
Finish it because it's a fact.
one on the Kansas City Chiefs is dating Taylor Swift, and the other one is dating a very scary white woman. It's giving I'm a biracial girl with a white mom, and
Who's the other one dating who?
Patrick Mahomes is the Kansas City Chief quarterback. The biracial girl.
Who's he dating?
He's married to a white woman that's very much a Trump supporter, and there's like a whole meme going around where they're like doing an interview together, and it asks what his favorite food is, and she goes, fried chicken. Sandra, his favorite food is not fried chicken. His favorite food is Mexican food.
Ew.
That's what his white wife said to him.
Yeah, ew.
Just like that.
Ew.
So that's the context. It just felt like I was like, I'm rooting for everybody black. Black.
No, fact. Yeah. Okay, so speaking of, what did you think of the halftime show?
Bro. First
He did that.
He did that. He did that.
And I didn't even catch all of his subliminals.
Yes. I literally wish that
he did that.
The closed captions were there live in real time. But
yeah, no, he did that. From the even Serena crip walking. Hello?
None of my friends in the room knew that Serena dated Drake. I said, guys, this is a jab.
I literally said out loud, he did that for Drake, and nobody understood what I was saying. And then 30 seconds later, everyone's like, oh, you're right, he did that so right. And I said, that he did that on purpose.
Come on. And he's disrespecting everyone that needs to be disrespected on a
literally
stage.
On straight bullets. Straight bullets. He did not even. SZA did her thing too, though. It was good. I liked it. I'm not usually like a. I didn't even watch last year's Super Bowl, but I watched Beyonce's performance specifically. But I love when they make a message out of it. You're doing something with it. A lot of people, I think, are too dense, and I don't think a lot of people are too in the. I don't think people watch it and see it in the moment, but I think once the conversation starts afterwards, it's really meaningful. That's what I love about it, because he did like he's a true. It really makes me remember like these are artists. They're actors, like actual artists.
No, but Kendrick Lamar has always been like very like he's a lyricist in his rap.
Yeah,
there's rap music where I'm like, okay, like I am for black people, but this is nothing. This is literal, like you're just throwing words out there, talking about things that I don't resonate with. But
I don't know that I have listened to much of his music. I haven't listened to a lot of it.
He's one of those people, like, because even when they said he's doing the Super Bowl, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
After watching it, I was like, okay, now I'm gonna intentionally go find it. But he had one of his Be Humble. Everyone knows that. Mm-hmm. Whatever was in Get Out, that was very popular. There was definitely a bunch of songs where I was like, oh wait, I know these songs.
Yeah, exactly. There were songs that he plays that I was like, okay, yeah, I do know these songs. But
no.
If I think to myself, like, what's a Kendrick song I wouldn't have been able to say. Yeah.
But now I'll become a fan. Okay.
Yeah, you got me. You ain't got to say nothing else. Yeah, facts. You got me. I'm listening for sure.
I also found out that Drake is not suing Kendrick. Drake is suing the management company, which also means that if
I don't think I fully even understand their beef anyway.
Their beef is that Drake is a biracial girl.
He's a corny man. He's everyone should beef Drake.
Correct. Oops.
We're
really going for people. Sorry.
Because honestly, he's so easy.
I know he's got fans, but I'm not one of them.
He's so clown worthy.
Their beef. I don't really know. I think that Drake perceives himself as. I think they were just fighting for the number one spot as rapper, but like Kendrick, I don't know that Drake writes his own music. So if you're going to be in a live and real time beef,
pick your battles.
Why would you want to come for Kendrick?
Crazy stuff?
Like,
yeah,
you have enough time to find a ghostwriter fast enough to talk. And Drake is again. I don't want to. I'm going to be singing biracial girl whole episode because come on, my guy. Come on. I don't even know you like that, and I could come up with a line or two. I don't know what I would say about Kendrick. Oh no.
And it's like, if you know you're corny, just be corny, because he has so much material. The material writes itself. It's so crazy.
To this day, that's another one. To the BBL Drizzy. That's Kendrick. That's Kendrick. Come on. Like,
It's not even funny, but it's so funny.
you don't want to
Because
see
leave
him
the man
because
alone. And even if you could come up with jokes about Kendrick, you're not like to your point. Even if
even if the
even if it was apples to apples, you're right. You're not even on the same talent level to go at him the way that you need to. So it's like he should have sat this one out
I
from
don't.
the beginning.
I wish I could. I was thinking this in my car ride to work today. I wish I could relive like their beef in real time because I wasn't into it until the very end.
I wasn't into it either.
No, Sandra, I swear it was like Drake dropped one thing, Kendrick dropped one thing, and then it was like before Drake could even like think to drop another, Kendrick already had one.
Yeah, I do remember that
It
conversation.
was like
Yeah,
bigger after big. I said, "This is getting embarrassing."
he should have been scared.
Even the Drake fans were like,
Exactly, because what are you gonna do? What you can't defend it. You really can't.
he said, "Wait a minute."
Because
Anyway,
he's
all
so
that to say,
corny.
Kendrick, you got a fan out of me, okay? I was just a subtle supporter for the black over here. No, he got me.
That's facts.
I'm here. I'm sat.
He literally did that.
It was good. I really enjoyed it. Like I've watched it twice already.
Really?
After the Super Bowl, just to like see. I've seen clips, but I watched it in full again today.
Yeah, I definitely rewatched it last. I watched it last night all the way through. I haven't watched it again, but I really enjoyed it. I wished I watched it because there were so many things. Like as the girls and I were talking about it today, and there's things that I missed. I missed even like the Gaza references. I totally missed
You
that. I
didn't
was
miss
so.
it. They didn't include it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I was at the bar. I was like, I completely missed that when the girl said that he did that.
That person is in jail right now. I need to figure out what like who's that person, what's their name. And in
Really?
New Orleans, apparently you can keep someone detained for up to 60 days with no charge. So somebody needs to get that kid out of jail.
That's crazy. That's actually so rude.
In jail? I don't even know their name. I know nothing about them. It got no coverage. You didn't miss it. It wasn't there. Like we only know because someone recorded it.
That's terrible.
Did you see Trump? I guess I was looking down when he was on screen because I didn't see that man.
Who? I
Trump.
didn't see him.
He said he was there.
He was there?
Yes.
I was thinking, I hope he watched that whole thing.
That's another reason that I'm happy the Eagles won because the Eagles straight up they said we're not going to the White House.
Period.
The year that they won, I think it was 2018, the year they won the Super Bowl. Too many of them said no, so he had to rescind his whole offer. He said, "And he'd come anyway."
Good.
But
And he said, yeah, I didn't want you guys to come anyway, fool.
who was over here saying it's an honor to play in front of a sitting president? Travis Kelce, Killer's man, and the black
Pew.
girl. They're and you know who's their kicker? The boy who went and made a speech out of college saying that women belong in the kitchen.
Oh,
That's their kicker.
this was such an easy one. This was so easy. What?
Care about sports. I was sacked.
Wow.
I was invested.
Wow.
I'm here for the pop culture and I'm here for the wins. During Black History Month, I need a win, okay? The black people need.
No, they deserve that painful freaking. They deserve that kick in the teeth. And there was a moment where you could tell they were getting so angry they tried to get one touchdown.
It doesn't even make a difference.
Whatever.
It's not even gonna make a dent.
Exactly.
It doesn't even matter.
Because why do they go and get a touchdown right behind them? Just shit down. That makes it even more sweet. Ooh, I didn't even know the juiciness behind that win yesterday. Wow.
I'm telling you, I was getting educated, and that's.
Oh, I forgot. I didn't even listen to that man's whole speech, but I'm itching. Ew.
I don't know nothing about that speech. I saw the anecdotes.
Literally, I saw the clips.
To see.
Ew.
And this is becoming such a cultural reference of like, what are your thoughts on the halftime show? Tells me everything I need to know about you. The message was
Literally
over your head, didn't it? Maybe if we talk critical race theory in schools, you wouldn't be so confused. Maybe you don't understand the references. But I appreciate that it was so.
a bar.
Yeah, just like take it in.
No, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
I
enjoyed it.
I feel like that was a good amount of motivation, even though it's only Monday and I'm already tired.
I know. Our cousin made a good point. I feel weird about saying names. I'm gonna you know who I'm talking about. Made a good point. She's like, I don't even care like about football. Like I don't even care about who's playing. Like she didn't even want to stay for the end of the game. She's so funny. She's like, I love like the social aspect of it. Like I love the pop culture. I love the conversation that everyone's gonna have after this kind of stuff. I love like the everyone getting together for this is social part of it. I love that there's all these people around. You know what I mean? Like, but to that point, I'm not that into pop culture, but I do enjoy like the discourse that happens afterwards, and I love that they can make a message with their performance. She did ask me an interesting question. She's like, if you were a Super Bowl performer, would you want to perform solo or would you want to share the stage like he did with SZA? And I was like, I don't know that
Is this like a popular conversation?
I don't know, but it was an interesting question because I'm like, if I'm answering that question as myself, I wouldn't mind sharing. I would prefer to share it with somebody, but that's because I'm shy and weird. But if I was already a celebrity and I had that opportunity, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind either or doing it on my own or sharing it. But why would you want to split? I don't know how it works getting paid. Would you want to split the proceeds or would you rather build a higher message because you have other people to do it with? I don't
You
know.
don't get paid for the Super Bowl.
Really? She's like, she was saying that if anything, you probably lose money because of how much you have to put into the production of it, your dancers and all these things. And it's more the publicity that you're going to get. But I don't know.
I think it depends. I think in previous years, it's always about like the caliber of the artist. So like if Beyonce goes up there, sure, and be by yourself. Versus like if you're like, I'm trying to think of the last white person they had up there, like Justin Timberlake or something. Like,
Oh, no way. That far
like,
ago.
just bring, especially the kind of music you have. Like if you have a lot of like very popular collaborative songs, then bring in the people.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
a cameo here and there. But
I
if
feel like it makes a good performance when you share it.
no, it depends because it's again, if you're a collaborative artist and you bring in someone that people care about more than you, now it's embarrassing.
Oh, okay.
Now I don't care about you. Versus, I think SZA and Kendrick already have a collaboration. She's very much like in the limelight this year. He garners in not a different audience, but it's like, oh, that voice, like now the girls are out of their seats. You know,
Facts.
it's like
Facts.
Kendrick is all rap, and then that's like, okay, let's do a little,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, because she did her thing.
I don't think it's very competitive because you're in two different like lanes. Of performance.
Yeah, no, they did well though. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it.
Serena, I like you thinking it's Serena Cooper are gonna remember.
I literally, cause how freaking random.
She got fined for that, didn't she? At her she at the Grand Slam she crip rocked and they gave her a fine.
That's so funny.
I think she won something and they said, I don't. Was tennis like strict? I need to go watch a tennis match.
Tennis is very strict. You haven't seen all those clips of Coco when she's playing? She be telling the refs because the refs try to do this stupid racist weird stuff that whenever
They hate black.
when it's Serena, Coco, anyone playing, obviously the black girls. But I've learned a lot about the rules of tennis watching Coco play because the refs will try to be weird and making stuff unfair. Like they'll let things slide with some of their opponents. But then when it's Coco, they're really strict about it. And so she's called them out sometimes in which she's like, this is simply the rule and you're not abiding by it.
Okay.
We have some things on here that we should have started with now that I think about it. Consistency and then first remote episode.
Well, no, we started off. We said this is a virtual episode. Hello.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the days you want to film then and then we can just go into regular?
We can film whenever. If we're talking about something that's pertinent or time sensitive, like right now we're talking about the Super Bowl, so let's post this week. But I'm gonna try post on Tuesdays. Let's aim for like the third Tuesday of the month. We're gonna start off trying to post at least once a month, but if we do more so, it'll be we can do like the first and the third. So if the first Tuesday will be a happy surprise, the third Tuesday will be. This one will come out tomorrow, honestly.
It'll just come out when it comes out, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes. But I thought we can go from the Super Bowl to just like the state of the world because that was very much commentary on
That's a good one.
Today, presently.
Today, I had a good day, right? And I'm like finally getting into this phase of where I'm like adjusting to this job and it's actually getting like, okay, I can really do this job, right? But then I just get home and I'm like, my friend and I were talking and her job is really actively being affected by all of these new policies that they're putting in. And she's like feeling a lot of anxiety, feeling a lot of stress. Her job will literally be affected. And like, I'm immediately just feeling rage and like sadness all over again. Like I can't help but go back and forth from like being pissed and like crying back and forth every time you have to like become cognizant of what's going on. But there's so much information that you're being inundated that it's like you don't even have time to sit and like process it. But this shit is crazy. This is actually crazy. Like I actually can't even start anywhere, to be honest with you. Like this is insane. Like this is not for real. Like I don't know. And it almost doesn't feel real. I don't know if I feel like I'm in a bubble and I feel like I'm like, okay, what's going on? But maybe it's because I'm not around all my friends. I'm not as close to all my family, but I just feel like I feel like this is not real. Like, this is crazy. Like, what's about to happen here?
I think I went through that phase maybe like right after the election, after the grief, um, where I'm trying to find the balance of like, at least right now, I think I put this in my notes somewhere, but I'm just trying to find joy in my own life, in my own existence. I'm trying to remember that we are still in our 20s. Like, COVID already robbed us of our early 20s. Like, I'm not allowed
Mm-hmm.
to let it rob me again. I'm not allowed to let, like, just feeling, like, joy to me is resistance. So it's like, as a black woman, me respectfully, I'm taking in the information I can. This is like
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more so than where I was before, because before I came from like whatever I know enough, I don't need to know anymore. Like I've done. I'm still going to like try and be
Yeah,
active.
and learn. Yeah,
However, I'm not standing at the forefront of this fight.
sure.
Like a lot is going on, but I'm tired of like politicians looking at us and being like, "Look, guys, look what's happening." Go direct it to the white people, direct it to the like if we're about to enter the handmaid's tale, that's cool as long as I print out my maps and find out one way ticket somewhere, because clearly Canada and Mexico are about to build their own walls to keep us in. But I don't know, it's just like it's overwhelming, but I don't want the overwhelmingness to like feel crippling. It's like yes, it's a lot's happening, a lot of executive orders are being pushed, but it's like you still have to live joy and rest in the time where they just want us to consume and buy and like be overwhelmed is resistance. Like stay cognizant, have these conversations with people. Clearly, like the people that voted for him and are now reaping the repercussions of what everyone tried to warn them about is as clear as day.
Mm-hmm.
Divide. There's like because there's some people still 10 toes down. Like it's great, like capitalism and crypto, and I don't know what people are thinking. Honestly, people that aren't billionaires, I don't know what their thoughts are, but
Mm-hmm.
community. I already told you when I wanted to move out, it was very much like this is not the time. Like this is the time
Yeah.
to really bunker down. And I know we're all in separate
Speak up.
places. I know we're all in separate places, but like I need to stay tuned. What you
Mm-hmm.
podcast is how I'll clock in with you, but I have a day where I'm gonna call mommy. I'm gonna call. It's just like actively like putting in. We're also adults, but like actively putting the time to like reach out to your networks of people.
Foster your computer. Exactly. That's exactly what I was telling her today. And I get what you're saying about the making sure you're keeping a safe space for your own joy and your own happiness and peace, and not necessarily making ourselves the ones who are on the front line. Because I agree with that. I don't necessarily think I have the bandwidth to necessarily be the one. Like let's keep. I don't know. Like especially when Gaza was first starting, I was very much like this. You know what I mean? Like I don't have the energy as much anymore. I feel like, but at the same time, I think there's a responsibility to consume to a certain extent and be aware,
Yeah.
and obviously like protect. What my friend and I were talking about today, it's like I don't know if it's easier said than done to say. Obviously, don't worry. Obviously, what's going to happen is going to happen. Like we're anxious. We're going to be anxious regardless. But it's like we can't do anything about this. You're right. There's a weird sense of peace where it's like it kind of is what it is, kind of thing. But at the same time, I told her, really, there's not much we can do besides for like protect ourselves, maintain your own sanity and your own peace. And then I said the same thing about like fostering your community. You have people around you who will protect you, who will care for you, and you have to be kind to one another. Like this is going to be a crazy time for all of us. I really am convinced that this is about to change our lives for the generation. Like we're about to have our lives flipped upside down. And she was talking about like the next 4 years are going to be awful. And I can't help but I don't want to be a pessimist about it, but I can't help but think this is not 4 years. This is life changing for us right
This
now.
is like we're
This is
genuinely.
literally what we think about in history books.
I
Our life is going to not be the same.
they already robbed us of like knowledge and history. That's why it's like
Literally.
read anything. Like I bought a
Ex-
textbook constitution just so I have it for when they
exactly.
Google starts giving me answers that aren't correct. Like
And that's why I said what's crazy is I almost feel like it's a weird sign and it's a weird, I always say this, everything happens for a reason. It's a weird thing to me that I accidentally deleted TikTok and now I don't have it because like I said, God has been telling me I needed to delete that app anyway. And I kept over consuming because I was thinking it was going to be gone. He said it's gone. And now I need it to be gone, to be honest with you, because Instagram not on my radar anymore. Any of the other apps, now I pick up my phone and I'm bored. I all my books that I've been gathering dust, I'm actually reading them and I'm actually enjoying reading again. I forgot I actually love freaking reading. Where have I none of my books in the past 6 months, a year have I read? Like, I don't know. Going outside, and you're right. planted me, the universe planted me in this area to be able to explore, to go out, meet people, touch people. Even the other day when I got lost on the freaking train, I met this family and I was praying for them on my way back, on my ride back. And I just know God is letting random things happen. So I meet people. So I put myself in places and he puts me in places to touch people. And that's all I want. Like, I'm praying for God to use me as a vessel. Do you know what I mean? And this time it's going to be hard as shit. It's going to be crazy, but I want the universe to use me as a vessel to protect people, to care for people, to be there for people, because it's about to get crazy. It's really about to get crazy, I feel like. And I was telling my friend, I don't mean to sound dramatic, but they're pissing me off. I'm pissed at this point. They can, whatever happens, happens. They can start a war if they want. If they think they're going to jack all the immigrants in this country, jack all the people of color, good. Stay here yourselves and build it yourselves. Stay here yourselves. You're going to make our lives miserable. I don't want to work anyway. We can all sit down and stop working. If you're going to take advantage of the same people who built this fucking country, built this economy, brick by brick, built everything that we live with, good. Then end it. None of us have to work if you wanted to. None of us have to work.
Before someone said,
you know what I mean? Threaten me with a good time if you want. The fuck are you talking about? These people have gotten in there and gotten brazen. You forgot all the riches you guys have on our backs, bro. Be
the problem.
Serious. They're brazen at this point, and they've wiped the man of his crimes, so he has nothing will stop him. And he's a real life narcissist. So the Democrats and the Republicans alike let this happen. So I'm 100% with you when you say protect your peace, and I'm going to go as far as to say white and black. To be honest with you, I think white people should be more at the forefront, but our government let this happen. If they're going to make us suffer, you would rather demonize trans people and people of color and LGBTQ and minorities and religious sectors instead of the very people that have brought us here today, that are getting us here today, and still squeezing us, expunging every penny that they can of us. The greed. Oh my God, you guys will never finish. You'll never finish. Jane, they keep the wealth. The wealth keeps expanding.
Oh, I filed my taxes today, and the other day, I didn't file them because I refused to file.
I'm not filing mine yet.
The number they spit at me, I said somebody else needs to look at this. Take a look at this because this cannot be right. This cannot be right. This cannot be right.
No, they're actually vexing me to the max. Let it go down if they want. Let them start a war, honestly. Because they've lost control of it at this point, I'm convinced.
They've absolutely lost control of it. Why are you as a politician standing locked out of an office telling me they won't let me in? Okay, there's criminals in Congress, and what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
So when he was there and let the rest of them come there to bang on your office door, bring it to the Capitol, and come and say they were going to kill you, that was your first sign that you should have let him come back? Oh, when you guys were trying to impeach him the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you guys didn't want to do anything. When he was stacking the Supreme Court, and you guys had 4 years in between to figure out how you're going to remedy these things, put in stopgaps. You guys did nothing. Now you want us to open our eyes to come and do something for you. When you guys didn't care when they were coming to our schools, our homes, our places, abusing us. You didn't care when the laws have now invaded our homes. The laws have now invaded my body. You didn't give a fuck. Fuck you. Fuck all of them. They can...
My body.
This stuff is vexing me at this point. And then you guys will be the same people talking about go have children. No, it's actually pissing me off. It's like I literally was going back and forth from crying to just pissed, talk to my friend, because in the same place you guys want to trap us here like animals. Trap us here like animals and then say, take all of our rights. You have to have kids. You have to this. You have to do this. And then go and work and then give all of it back to me too. All these riches, all these, like COVID, they made us miserable. All of us sick, dying. Just for them to take that wealth and still put it back in their pockets. While families were working through sickness, through health, no, it's too much. It's the selfishness and greed. It's gone to a point where God has to let it happen. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. I don't even feel afraid anymore. It's all going to come to a head.
That's
I don't feel fear anymore.
Trying to say to you and Mummy, where I was like, because for so much of like, at least maybe when I was younger, has been like, oh, God wouldn't let this happen. God wouldn't let this happen. God watched his own son get lynched by his government.
He knows what people are capable of, and he said, "I will."
Correct.
God's not going to force anyone's hand, but he will be there and watch while you let yourself walk there, because he's not going to control every... Evil is still evil. Evil is still evil. All you can do is your part. And that's why I said, God did not give us this... That's what I was trying to tell my friend, like, it's easier said than done, to be honest with you. But when I say right now, I don't feel fear. It's scary. I don't feel fear. Let somebody come... Let these men... I was just telling my friend and I were just talking today. My coworker and I were just talking today. A 17-year-old in Frederick just got arrested for stabbing a child. Stabbing another child, a 17-year-old, they're charging him as an adult from where we were just living. Be serious. Like, we're living in a time where these young men are becoming right. And I thought about it when we were even talking about starting to film this, right? I was thinking, we have to be careful because we're in a time where, saying things. I said, when I think about it, I don't give a, when I think about it, I want to even say more. I want them to keep all of these files. I want my mouth, my lips, my words, my thoughts to be
This is my diary.
forever you guys will listen, because there's no way you're going to come here and be wiping books, be wiping education, then teach my kids. When I open my mouth and say this is actually not what the fuck happened, I will be there at those schools telling you guys that's not what happened. This is real life history, and this is crazy to think about. This is real life history. When people's great grandparents say, no, I was there, we were walking the streets, this is what they were doing to us as slaves, this is what they were doing to our families, this is what, when they would literally gaslight us and say, oh, racism this, racism is aside. It literally exists in it's embedded in every system, bro. Every system, and you want to gaslight us as if it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't affect us. Good. Me, I'm ready. Honestly, I'm ready. I was being dramatic today. I said I'm ready for war, but I am. Because the boys from a young age are getting radical. From the right to the left, they're becoming crazy.
Bro. And even, oh my God.
To the right, to the left. I don't even know what I just said.
No, but I was thinking, like, so much is like filtering the Super Bowl and not showing the Gaza protester getting literally tackled right there. That was on our TV. If you go and look at the NFL themselves are posting Kendrick singing 40 acres and a mule. Where did you put the Sudan and the Palestinian flag? Nowhere.
And even in that, the freedom of speech, they're gonna come.
It's erased. This literally us having these conversations, these dialogues, especially on a public platform. That's history.
They got me
girls in 2025.
Yeah, they have me messed up. They have me messed up. And I forgot when God was telling me to start posting TikToks every day, I didn't realize I was taken. And this is why when you wrote the note about intuition, I really was deep in, because I'm at a phase where, as scared as I am, I'm learning. I'm forcing myself to learn and that's why I know God has yanked me to sit in this place by myself, as scary as it is, right? I need to sit with my body and sit with the feeling of what's uncomfortable and what's normal and what's weird, what's ruffling you, right? You need to be able to feel where God wants you to move, because my intuition is not a joke. When God told me last year, post a TikTok every day, I didn't listen. Little did I know, a year later he would yank it. What do I know that he would have been able to do for me in that year? I don't even know, but I didn't listen to him, did I? And I heard it so clearly. I couldn't even dispute it, and I didn't do it. I was trying to figure out how I'm gonna be nervous, how I'm gonna do this, and I was trying to learn how I'm gonna get into the rhythm. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna post this. Meanwhile, I know damn well I have so much stuff that I can say I want to, and I'm not even I don't listen, and I'm in a place I know where God has sat me. He said, you're not gonna listen, then guess what? Then he yanked that job, he said, move so I can do this for you, and you're gonna do the next thing that I tell you to do. I'm sat. No. My intuition, every prayer that I pray before bed is now, God, I want to listen to you. If I don't hear you the first time, tell me again. If I don't hear you the first time, say it louder. I want it to be clear that it's you. And I'm doing this thing right now where I'm almost confusing myself, because when I hear a voice in my head, I'm trying to talk over it. Like I'm trying to reason with it instead of just listening to my body and my gut, right? Like it's this stupid logical thing. I don't know. Or like just your brain. I don't know. But I could tell that's why God has had me sitting here, sitting by myself, living by myself, so I can be in tune with myself,
No, I fully agree. Like, I fully understand. Like, God told me the same things last year. How many TikToks did I post saying, I'm going to post every day? I'd post 2 TikToks and you wouldn't see me for months.
Literally, I remember at the beginning of the year, God told me every single day post TikTok, and I did not do it. That's crazy.
All of that practice would have made you so comfortable in front of a camera.
That's so crazy. I don't even know what the reason would have been, but it's just so crazy when I look back and realize when God has told me something, or my intuition has told me something, and I just chose not to listen, or I just chose to like, oh, is it an idea, or is it you telling yourself this is blah blah? I learn my lesson every single time.
What's your like how do you hear presence from God? Because for me, it's like that's why I'm so prevalent about like remembering my dreams, and I think like, there's never a point where God speaks to me and I'm just like, am I gaslighting myself? I'm like, no, I know what you told me to do.
It's my dreams as well, but it's mostly like it comes through in like thoughts, like actual words.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I also have a lot of thoughts. Like I constantly am thinking through myself, so it's hard to dissect when something is like a thought and matches my intuition. Versus I'm just thinking.
I have a confession.
What?
Okay. In this family, you know how we have undiagnosed ourselves as being on the spectrum, but everyone's on the spectrum, you know.
Yes.
But I feel like with confidence, I could say you have ADHD and I have autism of some sort. Bro, are
Wait.
you ready for something?
Yeah.
Tell me why I took Adderall for the first time in my life, like two weeks ago, maybe like last month. Not a damn thing happened to me, girl.
Bro.
I was on I was on Reddit and I realized all the people responding to the Reddit thread have ADHD. So they were like, "Yeah, if you took 5 milligrams, like take 10, then it did something to me." But I was like, but then I talk to people who don't have ADHD and take Adderall. They say, "You know."
I took Adderall one time in college and it was the best thing
What
ever.
happened?
I took it because I was working that job where I was
I
working
remember you had papers and stuff, but like what?
crazy, yeah.
What
And so I was having to do my research paper and I was way behind on it. So I was working until like 2 a.m. and I knew I was going to have to stay up and make a huge dent in it, at least 10, 12 pages that night, and then have to go back to my classes the next day and then go back to work, unfortunately. So I took one and it literally kept me up for 48 hours straight. But I've never been more productive in my entire life. I'm usually pretty disciplined and productive with my schooling anyway, but I just didn't have the time. So I took this thing. Not only did I spend all night up, literally all 12 hours, but I got the paper done and it was so good.
I forgot it's supposed to keep you awake too. No,
It kept me awake the whole time. And then the next morning, I was really scared I was going to crash because I actually still felt awake. But then I went to go get Starbucks or Dunkin' or something to actually keep myself like awake in case I crashed. And I felt like I could keep going even after I ended my like 10 or 11 my early morning class. I went and kept doing more of the paper. Went to my evening classes, went to work, and then kept going with my day. But I just needed that chunk of hours, and it's not even just the being awake part. I was so focused, it was crazy. I was sitting on the computer, like going to this page, going to my sources, going like I've never been so, and I've never taken it again. But I remember my friend recommended it to me because she actually procrastinated, so she didn't have anything done. But we both just needed to be up, and it was crazy. She takes Adderall as a normal thing, as medicine. So she gave me one. I was like, that was like the best thing I've ever done. Literally.
yes.
So that's crazy you just diagnosed me like that.
I mean,
Because I've never thought about that.
you diagnosed yourself with ADHD.
Did I? I feel like if I've said that, it's been a joke. I don't know if I believe that I have ADD. I joke that I've.
No, I think firstly because I already think people in this family have something. So if and automatically if you think anyone in your family and your lineage has is,
Yeah.
then by default, so you need to start looking at your age mates in the family. Um, so I also think like it's almost like a divorced parents. Like you know when you look at what like about divorced parents, they're like, I'm just like this because my parents are divorced. That's how, at least me. Maybe let me speak for myself. That's how I perceive like white men with ADHD.
Yeah, you have no empathy.
Yes, I don't, but I also think you have someone who has like the patience for white men with ADHD.
I do.
I think that also comes from a space of understanding.
It's crazy
My,
because
my lack of empathy comes from a space of like,
you're stupid.
not you're stupid, but like if I'm a little scatterbrained and I somehow got it done, like you can figure it out. Like get it together.
I don't even know if I purposely have empathy, but you're right. Maybe it's like an underlying subconscious understanding because I have a lot more patience for it than you do, and we've just noticed that throughout life. Like I have a lot more patience and understanding for it. You're right. When I've joked about ADD, it's because I've had like a distracted moment. I'm like, my ADD, or I'm legitimately joking, but I shouldn't joke about
Yeah.
illnesses like that anyway.
My
But
friends called me the neurotypical. Apparently, all of them have
huh?
their own diagnosable like.
Wait, sorry. Start over. Say the full sentence. Wait, say it again. I missed what you said.
Apparently, I'm the neurotypical.
Yeah,
Called me
I feel like that makes sense to
They
me.
told me the neurotypical, and my boyfriend was over there laughing like that's not true. But I was like, apparently, like in comparison to like
Wait, of you two?
no, of all of my friend group, everyone has
Oh,
their own things, and they said I'm the at least in college they called me
you are.
the neurotypical.
Definitely of your friend group,
I
you
don't
are.
understand what anxiety is.
The more obvious one, but that's also because you're a black woman.
Yeah,
So,
this is true.
masking? Teehee. Because in my core group of black friends, we all probably have our own things as well, but
In comparison to each other, you see it differently than you would.
you see it differently, yeah. And also, I think there's a little bit of nuance. One, we're all black, but I'm the African American who's genuinely, so I think the masking is even more.
No,
Like do you know what I mean?
Sandra, this is also why I had to stop
Like the perfectionism.
like I found one singular article because I typed in Google. I said, even if I was autistic, I mean, I didn't phrase it like this, but I was,
Yeah.
even if I was autistic,
Even if I was.
it said I think that my question, it was probably like 3 a.m. I said, as an African woman, like I was basically asking like what are my levels of masking? Like am I like a superstar level masker? Like would I
Quite literally.
like have I convinced myself like, would anyone know?
You are. And me, it's so crazy because here's me thinking, I need to look into this now. Because here's me thinking, I just have bad memory. I do. Here's me thinking, I can just juggle so many different things at once, which I can't, but I can start so many different, like, now that I think about it, I actually do. I start things at work and I'm like, I have so many things to do. I'm actually good at it where I will check things off my list. Like, I don't let things just linger. But it does stress me out. I think that's why this job stressed me out at the beginning as well. There were so many things at once, but I'm made for this kind of career. Like my brain is actually wired to be in 500 different places.
Over and over again because like I wish like you hadn't worked in such huge like fields before. You hadn't like really dipped your toe into corporate America. You were in small companies where I was like me, you know, I know me and you know me. And
Mhm.
every time I would look around and like at the chaos that is corporate America, I said Sandra needs to be here.
Yeah, because
Sandra needs to
what's
be here.
crazy is my brain. You just like unlock something for me because it is how my brain works. It's like a web, and my brain doesn't calm down until I untangle it and like dissect all the problems and like solve like get to the solution. Do you know what I mean?
That's what you wanted to do initially. You wanted to do like psychology and business.
That's what I want to do. Yeah, that would be my dream to be able to make money, but also work in a field where I don't have to absorb people's emotions, but I can utilize it in a way that's productive, right? What's hard is I don't know and I don't like the rat race of corporate America. And I don't like the competitive part of it. I don't like having to work through the egos, the personalities, but I don't mind that because I'm used to communicating with all different types of people. And once again, that goes back to God structures our life perfectly because why did God let us be in the environment where we've moved from so many different places to have to learn to communicate to so many different kinds of people. When I tell you like the international knowledge I have of how different cultures negotiate and do business, and it's so interesting to me. Like I'm very much meant to be in this space in this world, and that's why I have faith that God puts me where I'm supposed to be. But I don't know.
I'm tired though. I feel like
Me too.
like like maybe like a year or two ago, probably like right after COVID when it made all of us socially awkward, like I just don't mask anymore. Like even in like I work in a like a large corporation, but like my building is like intimate. Like I know X amount of people and this is it. Like I only have to interact with these people on a personal level. Like I'm very like I can be myself while
Us-
still being professional. And I think I've curated spaces where I can just be chill, but that's also made me literally like mask off. Like, girl, you still need a filter. You still need to like cater your message to people, and that's showing up in my relationship. But
I was about to say we should use this to pivot
bro,
because, and I just interrupted you. I'm sorry. So continue.
no, that's literally it. Like, it's my that's what segue. My boyfriend literally said to me because I tried therapy. I've done talk therapy and it hasn't been very successful for me. I'm just like anything I would discuss in talk therapy, I would write down in my journal or talk to you about. And he literally looked at me in the face and said, "Girl, if you're not going to do that, you need to like schedule a talk with your sister. Like you guys need to talk more consistently. Like make sure it happens."
Wait. Okay. I'm curious though. What even brought this up?
Genuinely, I think we keep having conversations where he feels like my tone is not it's just not kind, and I can candidly say like I'm not like I get snippy, and one at least a pattern I'm realizing in my own life has been like and anytime something's been tumultuous I'll start it with like with my mom. When I was younger, if I was like PMSing or something, I would be mean
Oh
and
my gosh, you were literally insufferable.
mean to your mom, and then like you come back the next and you're just like, dang, I was mean. That would happen like at a pattern whenever I was on my period. I would come back the next week and be like, oh, it was because of this, but it's also like intrinsically like who I am. And then I've had like a friendship that fell apart, and in that time period and reflection, I could say like there was definitely moments in that where I just wasn't accountable for my own behavior, and I wasn't in a space to have that conversation to resolve.
Hmm.
Versus now, this is like I'm in a romantic relationship. Um,
Wait, say that again.
I'm in a romantic relationship, and like I also am so acutely aware that I know I have not healed my like avoidant attachment.
Jane, I think you need to speak up. I can't actually hear like the words you're saying.
Well, you were also moving, my guy.
I know, but I still can't hear. It seems like I'm like hearing sentences, but it's like
Oh, that's not good.
and my volume is all the way up.
I don't see my volume moving. Hello. Okay, as long as
Like yours keeps getting purple when you're talking, but mine hasn't all the time. So maybe I just haven't noticed. But yeah, just actually speak up because I don't want to listen to it and it's not that
are
loud.
are you near like something? Is something making noise near you?
No.
Okay, maybe it's my computer. Okay, I'll talk up. What was I saying?
Okay.
Um,
Therapy and then what happened before and then.
I just feel like we keep having conversations where he's talking about my tone, right? And I know I'm being rude. Don't like. Let's start there. I know because for me, I'm sharp with my words. So if I'm
Mhm.
thinking, I'll think about 30 rude thoughts, and I won't say any of them. But even if I say none of them, like my unspoken body language, my eyes, my face, my even just like is like, and I'm twofold. There's one where I'm giving myself grace because I'm just like, it's not like he's an easy person to be with either. Like I haven't said that like bluntly to him, but I'm just like my guy. Like I don't know, and this is not even like I don't want to like you don't know what I've dealt with, but it's very much like I am used to being handled with fucking care, my guy. So it's not like he's an easy person to be with, but I know I'm not giving easy back. I'm like, so we keep having these conversations, and he's very quick. He's a quick study. Like that's also why I have to be careful with the things I say, because if I say I don't like this, like by 2 weeks later, it's done. It's gone. Suddenly, that doesn't even happen anymore.
Mhm.
So I feel like he feels like you tell me something and I change immediately, and I tell you this and you can't even be nice to me. I'm like, okay, but are you being annoying? Like, so that conversation where he was like, you need to talk to your sister or something was very much like, oh, wait. That conversation where he said, I need to speak with you was, ooh, I don't, dang, I lost my sentence as it was coming out of my mouth.
Mm.
But it's just rooted in like, and it's not bad, right? Like I do know that's something I need to work on, right? But it's also coming from like because I've genuinely curated a space where it's like I can just be myself versus now you're a stranger and you're right, I am being unkind, but it's also a level of if I did that to literally anyone else, it, and it's twofold. It's a lesson I know I need to learn, but I'm like, oh my god, you're also
When you say anyone else, you mean anyone that's in your life right now? You're saying if you did that to anybody else, it would be what? It wouldn't be an issue?
like yes and no. I think because of the extent to which I hang out with him. So it's like when you hang out with anyone
Mm.
more, they see more of you. So like I've noticed myself being like more short and more like abrasive at work, but it's like I can just be like, oh, that's an off day. Like let's show up tomorrow better, kinder, whatever. Versus like if I'm with you for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, now you're seeing me morning, evening, and night. And it's also like I also and the pattern where with my mom with the friendship that fell apart and now with him, it's also a layer of he is a man. He is a man. Like I already do not have a lot of grace and respect for men, and I see Sandra. I see it when I look. I have to genuinely like cognizantly clock in and be like, this is someone that you love and care about.
That you care about. Trust me.
Like hold some fucking empathy.
That's so real.
I already don't have
That's so real.
I already, as a person, like, okay, I don't want to say I don't have empathy because I do think I'm very capable of, like, I think I'm very capable of very immense levels of, like, damn, this is heavy. But I think I think I perceive things very literally. Like, I'm very, like, and I think that allows me to, like, just cut through the meat of it and be like, this is what it is, like, how, like, whatever. And I think it's so funny because, like, when you look at male female relationships, it's so, women are just so emotional and women Sandra, I said straight to his face. I looked at him the other day and I literally was like, because he was talking about like hypothetically breaking up or something, and I was like, I'm at a point where like you could break up with me tomorrow and I would survive. Like I'd be fine. Like, and I don't think I literally think he was like,
He would categorically be worse off than you if you
no,
guys broke
I
up.
know, I understand.
The thing that's interesting to about you guys though is you're both in a situation where I can tell it's a challenge for you both, but you know damn well that it's a challenge that you're willing to work through. You're both just working through your own, like, how do you meet in the middle?
Can I be so honest? I know that. That's why I'm like, at this point, like he feels like he's done so much. Like at this point, it's like, okay, are you going to like make the changes necessary to go forward? I literally went to yoga and like the mantra was like, I embrace transformational change. It's twofold. I need to be kind. That is a blanket. I know that about myself. I'm aware. Enter a space with kindness. But there's only a bandwidth. Like I'm not like I think he perceives kindness because be kind. You understand what kindness is. I know you understand what kindness is. But just because you say something with a smile on your face doesn't mean it was kind.
I was about to,
I'm not
okay,
gonna
'cause
wake
I
up
want to,
at 6 a.m. and be like, "Hi, no, this is my face." I actually don't even want to talk at all. So
because the thing is with you guys, there's also me knowing you, there's a level of managing expectations that also has to be present, right? Because you can, I want to say two things. You do, yes, we've talked about this. You need to work on your mouth. You need to work on your mouth. And I'm glad that you're in a space where experiencing your first real relationship because you have to practice this.
yeah,
And that's going to be your lesson. You know that 100%. That's easy. That's not easy, but that's the easy answer.
yeah.
That is your job. That's your first lesson. That's the first one that's blatant. Your tongue is sharper than anything I've ever experienced in my life. And you know that. But there's also a level of managing expectations where in a relationship you can't count score, right? It can't be I'm doing this, so you should do this. It can't be I'm doing this for you.
Nope.
And so I expect this in return. You should be working and changing and adapting in a relationship for your own personal growth and not expecting something in return. So if your partner were to never change, you should still be like, damn, I chose this person. But with that being said, going back, there's a level, me knowing you, there's a level of managing expectations that has to happen in this relationship because you are not naturally a kind person. You're not naturally like a soft, submissive like personality.
Yeah.
You carry your emotions on your face and you have a lot of thoughts. So when you have those thoughts, you're right, it's going to bleed out somewhere in your mouth. And you know how to, I don't say you know how to articulate yourself. You do. You're not someone who likes to dissect and have conversations, but you are someone who's very intelligent. So you either, if you don't want to put words to something, you either get lazy and you're like, you judge someone because you're like, you're stupid for not thinking that way like me, or you're just like, you just try, like, there's not much language with you. It's either sharp or it's nothing. So it's hard. It takes time for someone to have to pull that and get to know you and understand your real thought process. He does not know you.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, yes, you can and need to be kinder. You should be kinder in a relationship. You cannot sustain a relationship off of just opening your mouth to say what you want unfiltered.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if somebody were to say that to me, that's a real expectation. I can do that. I can be kind. I can have the most argumentative, toxic, harsh thing to say, and I will deliver it
So
like a cupcake. I will really, that's my talent. You are not that person. So there's a level of managing expectations where you cannot say, okay, you're going to be kind, you're going to be kind. I keep saying this because you're showing him a level of like, this is who I am, but that's not who you are yet. That's not who you are fully. He doesn't know you. You've given him a curated level of yourself, so much access to you because you like him, but you need to verbalize that because you also don't have enough bandwidth for 5 hours of him a day, 8 hours of work a day, 2 hours of your friends a day, and 8 hours in a house where you have roommates a day. Like, you are not that person. So it's also your responsibility to make those boundaries for yourself because that's also why you're being more unkind because you're giving up so much energy that you don't have. So the expectations of him is, I can hang out with you this much, take this much of your energy, take this much of your time, like get to benefit from being with you this time. Like this is the honeymoon phase. We're enjoying each other. And also still, like imagine how it'd be if you guys only hung out 3 hours a day and you had more time to rest, more time to not be snippy with your coworkers. You could see your friends and then go back and deal with your roommates that are messy today, but don't have to worry about it. And then go back and look forward to seeing him as opposed to 6 hours and you're agitated the whole fucking time.
It feels like something I've been saying for this is also a frustration that I know he has. This feels like this conversation that you're saying, like do this, feels like a conversation I've been having with myself and him, like verbally for months. So it's like we have a schedule now. Everything's XYZ. It generally is just like I need to put it into practice. Like I went to yoga for the first time in months. I said, Jesus fucking Christ.
Because you can't do both. You can't say you want to hang out, but then also let him hang out and then you're mean. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
You can't do both. I understand the need and the want to hang out, and this is, like I said, easier said than done because I've actually been in this trap as well, but in a shorter stint, and I didn't like the person, so it was easier to yank it afterwards. But it's like it's easy to want that companionship, but you need to test your bandwidth for yourself because it's not fair to invite someone into your space and then you're not giving them a good version of you.
Yeah.
Or be honest about it because that's what I wasn't good at doing either. Like communicate. Actually, that's not true. I was good at that. I communicate. I'm not in a good mood today. Come over if you want. I'd like to see you, but if you come over, don't expect a good mood. Don't expect a chipper. So then don't come in and expect anything different. But that's for you to read your own system, not for him to figure
I
out.
don't think I'm bad at that though. Like especially the past couple months, I've become like very good at it. Like I can articulate that. But you're right. Like it's like if I don't have the bandwidth, I'm not sure. Like I'm not even getting to enjoy the time we're spending together because I'm just like.
The thing that's hard too, I was thinking about this earlier when we first started talking about this, where I'm coming from divorced parents. It's a weird dynamic that I don't think either one of us has ever really dissected, right?
That I.
It's not, and how that's affecting us with men, right? Because I agree with you. It's hard for me to date and be with men. It's hard for me to be with you and see things and decide when I am and when I'm not going to tell you about yourself.
Bro, this is what I'm saying. Sandra. Look, okay. Look, where's the because I'm like, bro.
Why are you convulsing? What's going on? Oh, you said, where's the tissue?
Because we went from because I'm aware like no one can read your mind. If you're in a relationship, you have to essentially like talk over communicate. But I'm like, my love, you said be kind and you said communicate. Two things.
Because I have words and they're not nice right now. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You need to be real about that because I can come and be nice about the shit that I'm telling you. You cannot, Jane.
No. For me, and do you know what's crazy? I think that's where I genuinely have to manage expectations. Where it's like he's like, but we said this, like you said it. I said be kind.
He doesn't know
it, and then you didn't. But I'm just like, wait. And that's where I keep like circling in my brain. I'm like, if I did like what I did right there, if I did that to anyone else, so that's not me thing. That's your reaction to me.
That's a you exactly. And so that's what I'm saying. If you leave it at the be kind, you're thinking in yourself, oh, I can be kinder because you know yourself. I can be kinder. But if he's expecting a level of, oh, she's going to get better and she will be like, and that's not even to say you're not a kind person. You're a kind person. Like you're a nice person.
I'm not, there's no sugar and sprinkles and sparkles.
Exactly. Like it's very different. I want to be clear that because I'm getting into this phase where I feel like now where I'm on FaceTime with you, but I'm not, we're still very much recording something. So like, I want to be cautious of my words and that you're kind and empathetic and good person, but you're not the kind of person to mince your words. You say what you mean and you say it without any fluff. And there's value in people like that. You shouldn't necessarily have to change yourself, but you can learn to deliver a message a certain way. But at the same time, God made you who you are. There's value. Like I respect people who are different from me in that way. I don't have that talent like you, and I don't know that you should change that. There's value in that.
But I do.
But you can be, yes. How do you curate it to work there?
But that's the balance where I'm like, because I'm very hot and cold. I'm very one extreme or the other. So it's like you told me to be nice, so now I'm thinking every thought I have. But then I also don't want to be in a relationship where I have to like feel like I'm that's tedious to me.
That's not gonna work.
Things where I wind up like and I work very well with comparison. So I'm like, wait, it worked here. It doesn't work.
Yeah, me too. Exactly.
But like XYZ. So for example, like again, man in your space, I'd be thinking, okay, you did. I don't like that, but I can't tell you every 30. Like in one day, I can't tell you the 30 things you did that I didn't like.
Exactly.
Communicate, and then if you ask what I'm thinking right then, I'll tell you. But then, like, I actually shouldn't share that with you. So let me give you an example of like we hung out with Daddy in Philly, and I think I like fixed his collar or something. And like, oh, look at you, always making sure I look sharp. I think when I first met him, I was like, I like cleaned something off his face, or I did something. He's like, "You're always fixing me," and like a negative connotation. I'm thinking. And he did that before I did what I did to Daddy. And I'm just like, negative connotation. Anyone else should be like, at least I'm letting you want me to, fine. Next time I'll let you walk around with the crust in your eye. You don't want me to fix you all the time. So I'm like, I can't, and it's fine. When like if you share too many negative things, like the negative things are what stick out. But I'm like, I just don't.
You can also you can, if you have as many a lot of negative things to say a lot of good things
He
too.
doesn't remember the positive things.
It doesn't matter, but say the positive things. Even if he doesn't remember them, say them so that you remember them, and remember and say out loud to yourself that there are positive things that are balancing out the negative.
Yeah.
For every negative thing that's annoying you, remind yourself of a positive thing about him that you like, and that's keeping you in that relationship. Don't let yourself both of you, don't let the negative start to build up where you're like, is this actually working? Because he's also reading you in a way that's not true to who you are either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like he's reading a harsher, more abrasive, less energized, less energetic, less Jane version of Jane. So like until you guys get to the place where you really are just being fully yourself and he sees you for you, you just still don't know each other yet. Until you get there, you really can't analyze anything. You're just getting to know each other right now.
These are the therapy sessions that he said I need to do with you. This is really what he was talking about.
LMAO.
He said, go talk to her.
But so like I was saying before, there's an aspect that I had to learn in dating as well, where it's like, if you're going to choose to be with a man, there's a level of that comes with it. That's a man. As annoying and icky as it is, and I've had to learn this, like you have to discipline yourself to decide. That one I'll keep to myself today. I'll let them keep up, but I need to, at some point I'm gonna have to tell you, that's weird. Like y'all don't realize that's weird and that's not okay, and stop doing that. And you're not gonna do that with me.
I know that. That much I know. It's like conflated with the state of the world, and this is why he was like, okay, we actually need to like talk about like we have to have like continuous check-ins about, and I'm just like, bitch, I said this.
Yeah.
I said this last week as someone who doesn't like to talk. I said we need to do relationship reviews, relationship recaps, check-ins.
That's a good idea.
Some thoughts are like, this is you specific, but it's like also, and I this was a note I didn't write down. It's like not taking the macro and siphoning it into like my boyfriend. Like, but also, I'm not trying to move into the Handmaid's Tale, okay?
But also giving him the grace of just like he's not like a freaking
evil.
Do you know what I mean? He's not an enemy in your household. At the end of the day, you're closer aligned than you are apart.
Keep saying
when you go into an argument, remind yourself of that first.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
You go into it thinking all men are the enemy, all of you are out to get us, because it's easier to feel that way than it is to recognize not all of them are like that, even though they have all similar, even though they all have similar tendencies, even that they have things that show up that are similar because they were raised in the world the same way, with the same dynamic, the same body. So like they're gonna move differently.
I need to tattoo that on his forehead. He is not an enemy in my house because
Because if you make him one, it would be very easy to do that. It would be very easy to look. It's all about, it's really all in your head. And that's why I'm really glad you're experiencing this in a relationship for yourself, because it's more what you feed about yourself than it is about the person, to be very honest with you. And I want to go back to the divorce parenting, because I was thinking about this earlier today. Because I feel like something that both of us are going to have to face in relationships is that piece of it that I don't think we've ever had to really grapple with. When you sit in a relationship, you really have to sit with like trusting the person that you've chosen, trusting yourself, and trusting your intuition, right? Because some things, it's very easy to paint things with black and white. Like, that's a red flag. I don't like this. This is toxic. This is not, based on society, based on all these things that you hear, based on whatever. But unless you really drill down and recognize, who is this person that I've chosen? What is their intentions? What are their values? What are their morals? I chose this person for a reason. Even if they did something that society would deem toxic, right? Like, is their intention and their care for you different? Does that also curate the message that they're giving you, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, does that paint their actions? If you were to take that message and put it into somebody else, it would be different, you know? Yeah. Like, he's speaking to you from someone who agrees with a lot of what you're saying and knows your heart. You know his heart as well. You might disagree in the moment, in the heat of the moment. He might say something that you're like, that's crazy, that's stupid, why would you think that? My husband would not walk me into my life and give me kids thinking like that way. And it's easy to put that guard up, but you can't. You have to be able to work through those things. Worse things are going to come up. And it's about to get harder. This is the best. This is the easiest moment, to be honest with you, that it will ever get. This is the easiest moment of this time. So it's about to get harder. If anything, you guys need to be working on getting better at communicating through those differences. Yeah. You need to be learning to dissect the parts where, even if you don't disagree, even if you don't agree, okay, I'm sitting with that. I'm absorbing it. I hear you. I disagree. Let's figure out how we're going to dissect that together, because I don't like what you just said. It's not sitting right with me. And and then he will have to learn to either unlearn what he's thinking, either realize that he should be open to more facts, more opinions. There's experiences that he's missing that have not shaped his opinion, that have shaped yours. But you also have to be willing to force yourself to communicate what those are to let somebody else understand you. Like that's a dance of a relationship. You have to pull yourself out of your own head and your experience and allow somebody else to see you, allow somebody else to experience that, and give them that and let them decide how they're going to handle it. If you get to a point of relationship, that's when you get to the pivotal point. You either break up or you don't. You have to at least give them the ability to do that. Be vulnerable enough to say, these are my experiences that have shaped how I thought, shaped how I view the world. I will be biased and say, I really do think Black, African American, dark-skinned women have some of the most acutely aware and acutely accurate perceptions of the world and of people. That doesn't mean we're always right, but we have a very good grasp on a lot of fucking things. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even trying to be proud when I say that. That's very facts. I can walk into a room and I genuinely feel like that's one of my superpowers. I can read a room very well. I can read people very well. I can read situations. I can read the environment. I can read the world. But like that doesn't mean you're always right. That doesn't mean you don't have space to learn other people, and that also doesn't mean that knowledge doesn't need to be shared. That doesn't mean it's not any good in your head. So you have to also learn to literally relate to another person. That's weird. That's literally the word of relationship. You have to learn to relate to someone and make like ship it together. I don't fucking know. Make it work together. But I don't know. I think you guys are in a good space to work through it. You're just like in the growing pains of it. And it's annoying because it should be the honeymoon phase, but you like each other enough that it's just like, it's you too. You're not setting boundaries. You're letting someone so into your space that it's you.
I was sitting there thinking about how we so quickly expedited it, that's why I'm like, because I keep sitting and I'm like, you can't change the past. It's fine. It's already done. But I keep sitting there thinking like, God damn, if we took this at a reasonable pace in which we like laid the foundation of like, this is who I am. This is a reasonable expectation of me. But I'm like, okay, we're here now. That's fine. We've moved past it. But
it's kind of crazy too, because you were at a phase where you were already trying to be like, when you first met him, you were already in a phase where you're like, let me pump the brakes. Let me slow down with this. I don't even want to give details, but you know what I'm talking about. You were very much in a phase of like self-discovery, spending time with yourself, like not giving too much. You know what I mean? Even when you started dating, you're like, I'm not giving myself to people just willy-nilly. Like you were being very intentional about who you allow in your space. But then you met him and it was like full steam ahead because you enjoyed each other, which is okay, but that's still a you thing to set the boundaries and set the pace. You let him dictate the pace and you went along with it because you enjoyed it, but that's for you to not backtrack now, but like I said, manage expectations. Because you're not gonna, what you're doing now is not sustainable. I'll say that right now.
It's not sustainable.
It's not. And I would hate for it to ruin a good thing when you guys don't know what the truth about each other. I don't even know him, but I know you well enough to know you're not seeing each other.
I know we're not. And because I'm very, like, even just like in deciding if I want to live alone, if I want to move out, I'm very like hot or cold and very willy-nilly. I'm like, I'm overwhelmed, so I'm gonna go live in a box by myself.
Exactly.
There's moments where we're having a conversation that's where I have to like look at him and remind myself like that is someone you love and care about, and this is XYZ. We need to work through this, because I'm just like, because imagine I'm overstimulated for a week. I'm like, okay, so that just means I should like sit in darkness for a week, right? You're fine if I just disappear for no, he's not gonna be good at that. So
that's quite literally not how relationships work. I don't know, man. I still haven't closed the loop on this divorce thing. I don't even know if I have a full thought about it.
I get where you're coming from, because even in observing people who come from two-parent households, they have their own trauma. But I think we don't assess, and at least me, myself, I haven't sat with it long enough. My lesson of this week was like, oh, this is been your limited interaction with men, and that's how it's showing up in.
And I think not only is it in the example of the two-parent household that you just gave, not only is it easier in that situation because you could, even if you have divorced parents or you have a two-parent household where it was toxic, right? At least you can see what that is, right? When someone goes into a relationship and they come out of it and they've seen unhealthy dynamics and you come out of it and it's like you go into a new relationship, you can almost see the toxicity where they've learned it. You can see the behaviors, right? With divorced parents and like an absent father, it's almost the opposite, because what's showing up is the unseen. Does that make sense? Like what's showing up is the absence of someone. What's showing up is like the things that you don't know that you're trying to fill the gaps with. Like, we don't know how to relate with a man long term. We don't, at the end of the day. So it's like
Like there's
we're used to being by ourselves. We're used to being like, I'm damn near perfect. I know that I'm a good communicator. I'm not an evil person. I'm not, you know what I mean? So what could possibly be wrong in a relationship? What could possibly go wrong? But you've sat yourself in a relationship where you have to merge two experiences. So you're not used to having to compromise.
at all. At
And that's where
all.
in a relationship, I'm actually good at it. I'm really good at like compromising and giving space to somebody. I bend too much. And then I'm like, oh, I don't even want you here anymore. And then I jump out.
No, no, because like we had a conversation, right? So you're right. I'm not used to compromise. I'm not used to someone even seeing me enough to like point out my flaws to then I have to like be like, oh, let's be accountable. I don't. It's twofold. I was about to say I'm fine to compromise, but I'm not. I think I'm right a lot of the time. But I do compromise. I'm also just not. I think men compromise and they're like, look at me, look at how I compromised.
Literally, this is
Okay, but when your behind was in my bed, like just like in my space, that was me compromising.
this is the thing that I was saying
It's
about as a man, they're used to moving through the world, and we as women have to decide. It's really hard to decide when you're not going to tell them about themselves, because what you're not realizing is are having 10 times more thoughts than he is at any given moment. So while every single thing that he's saying out loud that he's compromising on, you're actually probably, and every time he's saying, why are you not being nice? You've probably been nice 5 times and he hasn't even noticed it. You've probably been nicer than you wanted to be 5 times and he hasn't even noticed it. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm like, you genuinely do have to overly communicate, and I'm like, I have to like do it in real time because I'm like, he's good at like sitting and like then he'll come back and like have a he's very emotionally intelligent. He'll have a thought and be able to advocate for himself. Where I'll sit there and I'll go mute, and then even when I do talk, I'm like, that isn't exactly how I wanted to advocate for myself, but I want you, like literally you sitting here and being like, we need to manage expectations. Like I had that thought in my brain, I didn't know how to like put it into words because he was we've done this over and over again, and I don't want you to just be like, I'm going to do it. And my brain literally got stuck because I'm like, I'm saying I'm going to do it, but I'm like, I don't know that what I'm going to do is
To your expectation, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. You do need to, because if his expectation is you're gonna work on it, you're gonna get nice, you're gonna get nicer, and then when you're just gonna be the sunflower, that's not
and I
who
also
you
don't
are.
even know how to explain it because like even his version of like I'm like you told me to do that and I stopped. I'm like, sure, but even that's not to my expectation. But I didn't like kick you while you're out. I'm like, I noticed the change, and we're each growing and adapting as people trying to like merge lives.
This is another thing that's so weird about a man, right? Because that I don't know how to navigate, because men feel very comfortable telling you what they need from you, and it's like, or telling you what they need you to do to be something for them. But it's like, I'm not telling you how to be. I'm asking you for something what I want.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm asking you. I don't like that when you do that, but it's like
I didn't.
there's something weird in the delivery of like, be kind, or like be nice. You know what I mean? Like constantly saying like, be all right. You know what I mean? It's like you have to be able to shift that. Like, you have to do that. It can't be you always have a marker that you need to be like checking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But also you owe that. I don't know what the balance is, because you owe that in a relationship.
I
So I
do
don't
need to be
know.
kind. That's fine. Like that's a lesson that I know about myself even outside of a relationship. But it's weird. I'm telling you, like the context of a man delivering the message is already immediately like puts my
Jarring.
walls up. I'm like, fine. But I don't even it sounds so bad. It sounds so bad. It sounds so bad. But it's also like because what's the one thing? Women was like you men love your wives. Women respect your husbands. Respect them. Because I as someone with avoid Sandra. Avoidant. Okay, that is an attachment style I have yet to heal. We are a work in progress.
Literally.
Looking at a man
Trust me.
who respects himself down, he'll look at me like, if you like, I need you to be kind. I need like that's something I require. I like, and it's like the unspoken word is like, I if this doesn't work, I have to go. And I'm thinking to myself, that is not a threat. That's not a threat to someone who wants solitude.
But unfortunately, you can't be like
I
that. You
didn't
cannot have that mindset in a relationship.
obviously I didn't say that. You know, I didn't.
No, no, it's not about saying that. You can't even think that. You shouldn't think that, because you're always going to let yourself know that you have an escape. And us as avoidance, it does. You can't maintain a relationship like that, because let things get too hard, you're always going to think to yourself, "Oh, I can either be alone, which is great, or I can just not be myself and say things how I want to, which is great too." So torture me with a good time if you want. But it's not. It's not. You also want to be in a relationship?
Yeah, yeah.
So
But the state of the world, I'm telling you, it's not being cute. But you're right. Now is the time to learn how to communicate because it's not going to get easier. It's not going to get easier.
men are just weird. Men are hard, honestly.
It feels like this is going to sound so bad. This is going to sound bad, but it feels like sometimes it's a handicap. It feels like, especially being
That's not wrong.
being in your 20s and looking at the state of the world, it's like it even feels like even sitting here and having this podcast and what like X amount of time be occupied by like a relationship and how to navigate that is annoying to me. It's like I'm in my 20s. I should be able to like hop on a plane and like make mistakes and fail and like figure it out. And like as a black woman, I again everything I do feels like resistance. It feels like I should be able to like live my life
Exactly.
and, like do it. But like
And the thing is, you should.
I shouldn't.
The reality is, you should. Like, as a black woman, we should. Like, that's the reality of it. And I keep thinking to myself, like, I'm in the phase of life where realistically I should be by myself, but I still want companionship, right? It's so funny. My best friend was just saying, like, you probably should be in a long-term relationship. Like, you would be in a really good long-term relationship.
Enjoy it. I'm telling
But it's because huh?
enjoy it. Enjoy.
That's what I'm saying, because it's because I need like my space by myself. But you're right. There is something that feels like a handicap when you have a man. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like being by yourself. There's nothing like it. And if I let myself be by myself too long, I might never be with a man, because when they come here and take up your space, like if I can't curate how much of my space I'm willing to give you, it's already too much. And if I don't learn to enjoy my life by myself right now, I have my whole life to be with a man if I want to be honest with you. So it's like, and I just had to open my phone to find that quote that we were talking about today, because it's like the quote that says the next time somebody asks me why I'm single, I'm gonna start listing the things about their relationship that I don't like. And it's crazy. No one's ever asked me like why you're still single or anything like that. But it's like if I ever got the opportunity to answer that question, because when I think about it, there's no relationships around me that it's like inspiring me to jump into a relationship. I really very much don't want to have to think about somebody sometimes. I want to be able to stress in my life and not have to think about somebody else at the same time. I want to be able to not cook dinner tonight and not think about you thinking, do I cook as a woman? I want to be able to literally sit here and I didn't eat for 24 hours yesterday. Did I even remember until breakfast this morning? I said, why are you starving?
Bro.
Like,
Add that to
these
the
expectations is so annoying.
add that to
Not only the expectations, but it's like men too. Men are just, ooh, they're so annoying. And it's not, the thing is also, you can't gaslight yourself, because there's statistics behind this. There's actual statistics. Married women are marginally unhappier than single women. That is a fact. There's literally women who are talking about this today. When they get divorced, their lives are so much better now that their husbands are dead, their kids are out of their house, and they even spend time with their kids now and enjoy it more, that their husbands are out of their way. So the common denominator in all of these spaces is men. So it's not like I'm going to lie to myself and delude myself. I'm not going to rush myself into a relationship. I'm not going to force myself into something. But at the same time, I know I value companionship, so I have to be able to do the work once you're in one to make it work. You have to curate that space. You have your whole life to be with the man if you want to.
Yes.
So you don't have to, if you don't want to, sabotage yourself and spend 8 hours with him on end when it's going to make you spill vitriol and tired, anxious, annoyed Jane on him, when you could just see him 2 hours today, and 2 hours for that week is going to be a joyful 2 hours. Like, you can't change who you are. You don't need to explain to him every single time he says you're not being nice why you're not being nice, because sometimes you're not going to be nice. But if he's going to have I don't have to explain it, because yes, you can expect someone to be nice to you. You should be communicating kindly to him. But you also speak with a certain level of sharpness that is expected. All of your friends would be able to tell him. I would be able to tell you. All of our family would be able to tell him. Like, so it's not until he gets to see you in all these different spaces that he will see it. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to lay it. You don't have to explain it right now. And I think that's what's the annoying thing to me about the checklist of like, be kind, be kind, be kind, be kind. Because it's like, if you're going to measure it at about every word you're saying, you're going to fail 90% out of the time. You're not like a person who most people would say, she delivered that very nicely. She delivered that very kindly. Like, I felt that. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I know a lot of people, myself at the top of the list, who will be able to take any nasty message and make it sound so sweet. I don't think you've ever done that in your life. So that's manage expectations is so for real. But I forgot we were talking about it before, but there's a level of like being with a man that is very much jarring, and I will not negate that, because
Like,
You better choose the right one. What you guys are not going to force me to do is rush into something. I will make sure I choose the right one that I'm going to be happy for the rest of my life, because I have felt it. It literally feels like a weight. Even if you feel like you have a man that you like, life is hard. Like when you love, even when you love a person, life gets hard. And one of my friends was just, my friend at dinner was just saying this. I was talking about something annoying that a guy did on a date. And she's like, not for nothing, you were coming from a relationship where, actually, I was talking to her about the guy that I'm talking to now, like all the stuff that happened and now that we've rekindled, right? And she's like, I see why you were like that the first time. And it's a good thing you had to come back, because that's who you are. You had to cut it off at that time, because not for nothing, you came from a relationship where that man would do anything for you. To this day, that man would do anything for you. He may have been maybe not on your level certain ways, but that man would do anything for you. So why would I go backwards? Like, why would I
That doesn't make
do
sense.
less? Why would I accept less? It doesn't make sense. That's really simple math if you think about it. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know how we just got to this tangent, but
Let's talk about more difficult, the dating, how we show up with divorce and relationships.
yeah, but I don't know. I think there's just some growing that you guys have to do together.
Definitely, like there's definitely growing. I knew I was in the middle of growing when I met him. It's just like
It'll work itself out, though, I feel like.
well,
Because it just takes both of you knowing that you want to work it out,
yeah.
you know, and you want to make it work. So
Literally,
either way. Anyway, I feel like we've been chit-chatting for a while. We've had a good chat. I kind of want to...
Imagine we cut this and it didn't record.
That's what I'm thinking about. I'm kind of anxious about thinking about, because I feel like this was the first time we've actually been able to have a good, like, actual sister conversation, but we're also actually recording. So, low-key, I'm curious to see how it turns out.
I feel like we got a little too comfortable.
Huh?
I feel like we got a little too comfortable.
We got a little too comfortable, yeah. Because slipping names is insane. I really feel like I'm on FaceTime right now. Like, I feel like I'm on a corporate FaceTime.
We didn't even, like, make a picture.
I know. Okay.
Get towards the middle and do something.
You kind of look blurry on my end now. Do you look fine on yours?
I look fine now.
I look fine on mine?
There was points in the middle of the podcast when you were talking and you, like...
Yeah, I really want to watch it.
Yeah.
Recorded, because you're turning blurry sometimes and I still look clear.
Okay.
So I'm curious how it looks when we're both recorded. But anyway.
You should be able to watch it as well.
This was good practice, though, because I feel like you're right. We did get pretty comfortable, but we need to learn to, like, okay, we're still on camera. Yeah. There's a lot of moments where I feel like I'm just talking to you, but then I'm like, oh, wait, you're not just talking.
There was a moment somewhere in the middle I was like, oh.
We need to learn to...
be in person, too. Yes.
We need to...
But this was because...
We need to learn to be in person and be more comfortable, and learn to be here and be less comfortable.
No, this is also a result of not FaceTiming before, because I actually needed to talk to you.
That's true, yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true.
I was like, no.
I liked this, though. We need to get better about having, like, two things that we both want to talk about and let it segue. It feels like, especially because you're in a new relationship, I do think this is going to be a reoccurring one, because I do think you're learning a lot. Like, I'm very interested in seeing your growth here, because... I don't know. It's just going to be a very interesting journey. But, and I'm just naturally dating too, so I feel like dating is going to be a one that's going to come up over and over. I don't know how much of my dating life I'll talk about on here, but yeah, I feel like I'm navigating my own things and learning myself as well. I purposely didn't talk about anything here today, but...
What's that like? Yapper galore and Sandra.
No. But... yeah, I don't know. I felt like your relationship one was a lot more... There's nothing pressing in dating right now that I need to talk about. You know what I mean? But I said all that to say I think dating will be a reoccurring one. I think the state of the world will be a reoccurring one. So I feel like whatever we're thinking about or whatever's been... Our jobs will probably be one. Family.
Oh, we definitely
I feel like
jobs.
Yeah, whatever's... I think we should keep up with, like, whatever's on our mind, have two main topics that we want to talk about, and if they end up merging, we can do that. We can just segue into those conversations, you know?
We have natural conversations over our books.
Yeah. I want us to be less like, okay, we're going to just have a natural conversation and, like, let's structure, I don't know. Because this really feels like a FaceTime. We'll see if we end up even posting it. But I kind of want to post it, though, because we haven't posted.
Yeah, I don't care.
We'll see. All right, well, love ya. Love you guys. Bye.